Spiraling into my head with Gab. Why am I so nervous? Okay. Happiest becomings, Gab Gang. Welcome to the first official spiral. What's swirling around in my head today? Let's descend into it. Disclaimer. I'm not a professional at giving life advice, just a girl out here living and learning as we all do. This podcast is for people who want to have raw and honest conversations. Any negativity is not welcome. If you're here for a good time and I feel like we're on FaceTime, this podcast is for you. So sit down, buckle up, keep all extremities in the moving vehicle at all times, and without further ado, let's get into it. So I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Gabby. I'm a college student studying criminal justice with a minor in psychology. I want to be a criminal lawyer for the prosecution. This is my third year in college. I've literally dreamed of being a lawyer since I was 12 years old. I don't know, it's just something I'm really passionate about, and I feel as though we need better criminal lawyers. And I want to be the change. I want to make the change. Our system is very corrupt. Our justice system is beyond corrupt. And yeah, I'm just one person, but at least it's one more person with a good heart doing things for the right reason, not just to win, but to find the truth. So, to be fully transparent, I was filling a questionnaire out the other day, and the question was, who are you? Who is Gabby? I don't know. I stared at it blankly for I don't even know how long. Matter of fact, I didn't even know what to put. I didn't know. I called my best friend. One of my best friends, I called her because and she gave me so many details about myself, but who am I aside from being a good friend, a good daughter, a good student? Like, who am I aside from what I offer to people? And I don't know. I'm really hoping that this podcast will be able to open my eyes and kind of let me explore who I am and who is Gabby. I feel like this is a universal problem. I mean, I don't even know what I like. I know certain obsessions I have, like Spider-Man and hanging out with my friends and being with my family, but really, who am I? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm gonna be fully honest with you guys. This week has been really, really hard for me. Today's Wednesday, February 11th. I lost my grandma Sunday at 1:22 in the morning. It's been 3 days. I'm not gonna cry. I pushed through this week because I have school and I have a job and I have an internship, and I mean, I'm a full-time college student and I have obligations and I have things to do, and I know that sitting in my bed and crying was not going to be the best thing for me. Grief is such a weird thing. You have really, really bad days and you have really, really hard days, and then you have really good days. And the good days almost feel too good to be true. And it's definitely something that I am working through, and this is a universal problem because the world keeps spinning. It keeps spinning. It doesn't stop because you're grieving and you're going through a lot. It just keeps spinning. My classes still keep going. Everything still keeps happening. Nothing stops. So I can't. And I've had people tell me it gets better and just to keep your head up. And I understand that it's constructive and people are trying to help, but it's like it doesn't feel that way. I can't change the situation. What's already done is done. And it hurts. And it's really, really hard. And I don't really know how to talk about it. So I'm talking about it here. I had this issue where I found myself completely just shutting down and avoiding my feelings just to get through the day. And in doing so, I would get home and that facade would wear off and it would all hit me. Just to get through the week. And it's just there isn't a happy medium. I can't go to class and go through life crying and going through all of these things, going to all of these things and crying and not keeping my composure. So I don't know, it's really hard and I'm trying to find a medium, but there isn't. So yeah, but I did find that suppressing everything and not allowing myself to feel to get through the day is not helpful whatsoever. I have to work through this. Pushing it down is not doing anything for me at all. I just know that my grandma would be very proud of where I've gotten in life and how far I've come, and I know that she wouldn't want me to stop, and that's what keeps me going, is that she wouldn't want my world to stop just because she is no longer here. Another thing that really keeps me going is that her and my grandpa are back together. May would make 4 years since he passed away, and they're together again, and that is the other thing that really keeps me going, is knowing that she is now happy again and she is with him and they are united. But I think outside of those factors, it's really hard to look at the bigger picture, especially in the beginning stages of grief, because it feels like my world just stopped, my world is just ended, but in reality it keeps going no matter what you have going on. I don't know. But the sadness aside, this podcast has been something I've wanted to do for years now. I've joked about it with my friends, and I've recorded little episodes on my voice memos on my phone, but I've never actually started a podcast. And I was talking about it with my mom and my aunt, and they were like, you should do it. And I had this really nice girl who DM'd me on TikTok, and she told me I should start one. So thank you so much. You really pushed me to do this for myself, and I'm so grateful for you, genuinely, because I don't think that I would have had you not reached out to me. Genuinely, I can tell you 100% I would not have. So I really do want to thank you for that. You're really amazing. Thank you so much. But I think one of the issues that I have been struggling with is second guessing myself and second guessing what I'm going to talk about. Or I tried to script this whole entire podcast out on a piece of paper. I tried to write word for word everything I was going to say so I couldn't second guess anything and I didn't mess up and say the wrong thing. But in reality, this is just a conversation between you and I. So I don't need to second guess it. I can say what's on my mind. This is my platform, my podcast. I'm not PR trained in any sense, so I don't have to withhold anything I say, and also it being scripted would not be me and would not be authentic. So that was an issue I did have. And my mom, she was sitting next to me and she saw me literally writing everything out. She was like, Gabby, what are you doing? Why are you scripting every single thing you're going to say? And I was like, because I'm second guessing myself. What if I mess up? What if I say the wrong thing? But who cares? Who cares? So now here I am with my very first podcast episode, and I'm so beyond excited. And to whoever is listening, you're not alone. And just know that you do have people in your corner my DMs are open. If you ever want to talk about anything, if you're having any struggles, if you want any advice I'm not a professional, but I could try my very best to try to help you, because I know what it's like to feel like you don't have anyone, but you are never alone. I do this thing where I isolate myself because I feel like dealing with it on my own is better, and I don't want to be a burden to others. But in reality, that's hurting me a lot more than it's helping me. And now that I have addressed that, I don't know, I do reach out for help now. And it's honestly the best thing I've ever done for myself. For the longest time, even in like my academics, work, in all aspects of my life, I felt that asking questions was embarrassing. It's not. It's not embarrassing to want to know the truth. It's not embarrassing to ask questions or to ask for help. So just know that you're not alone. Genuinely know that you are loved too. You are amazing, you're beautiful, you're awesome. And don't let anybody take that from you. Be confident. People notice that. I've gathered that. I was so unconfident for the longest time. I would nitpick everything. Because I've never been skinny. And it's okay. You don't have to be skinny to be pretty. You don't. You're gorgeous. Own it. But, to move forward, we have a random spiral question of the week. And if you could experience life as a celebrity, one celebrity just for one day, 24 hours, who would it be? Comment down below, please. I would love to see your guys' answers and why. Me personally, mine would be Quinlan Blackwell. I'm absolutely obsessed with her. I love her, and she's friends with Lorraine. I've been watching Lorraine for probably, I'm gonna say like 6 years now, plus. I love him down. And to be able to experience like being his friend for a day would be so cool. And being her, she's so tea. She's so tea. Her mentality is amazing. Like, her confidence radiates through the screen every time I watch her. She is so beautiful. Also, music video with Somber. Amazing. I don't know how y'all feel about Somber, but I love Somber and I love Quinlan. So that was absolutely amazing. I think I've probably watched it like 5 or 6 times since yesterday. I'm obsessed. Absolutely obsessed. Song, amazing. Music video, amazing. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. So let's get into our first deep dive. We're going to be talking about comparing yourself to highlight reels and comparing life timelines. Meaning, this stuff, comparing yourself to these people online, it's fake and it's toxic, and it creates a negative self-image because you don't look like this person that has 10 filters and work done. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just unrealistic. It's not realistic to not have a bunch of money and expect to look like that. It's just not. And I think that as somebody who grew up with a phone since I was 9 years old and I'm now 20, I really did compare myself a lot to girls on social media, and the fact that I did not look like them. I was 9. And for the longest time, it created this horrible image in my head of myself that I wasn't beautiful and I wasn't worthy. And if I didn't look like these girls, then nobody was going to like me. But in reality, that's not the situation at all. It's just not. And also, people who glamorize their lives. If you have a good life, like, I genuinely really am happy for you. But a lot of the times, they're not showing the negative sides. They're not showing the downsides and the struggles. So you see these things and you think, okay, well, I have all of these things going on and I am struggling and my life doesn't look like this, so it's bad. But it's not. It's just not real to have a picture perfect life like that. And I think that people really need to talk about this more. I feel like it, especially with younger people and my generation consuming all of these videos, via TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever social media you use, it's really toxic, and it gives them a false sense of reality. And that's not fair. I think people, if you choose to post your life online, should be a little bit more honest with their viewers. Like, I don't need you to lay everything out on the table, but talk about, like, I'm not showing you the entirety of my life. This is just the highlights. This is the good. There are struggles, there is bad, and that will give people a better grasp on reality. Like, hey, it's not normal to be vacationing every single week and buying Lambos and not having any struggles or any struggle with mental health or self-doubt or bad things going on in your life, because that's just not realistic. And I think that once you get past that and you have a more positive mindset, you grow as a person. I've grown so much within this last year. This is the longest I've been single since I was 13 years old, and I've definitely learned a lot about myself, and I've done a lot of self-reflecting, and I don't know, I guess I did not realize how toxic I really was to myself, and I was feeding myself these negative thoughts. And as soon as I stopped, I had such a much more positive outlook on life. And even times like this, when I'm going through things, I can see the positive in around me, and then that not everything is horrible, and that I am pushing through this week. It was an accomplishment that I got out of my bed and made myself look presentable and went to my internship and class and work. That is an accomplishment. Genuinely, it is. And it really just is about your mindset. And another thing that I have caught myself doing, especially now as a 20-year-old, I've caught myself comparing myself to my peers who have kids in a house already. And yeah, I mean, I have an apartment, but I don't have a significant other, and I'm working towards a career that's going to take me years to accomplish. And there's nothing wrong with their lifestyle, but while we normalize that lifestyle, I think we should also normalize a more individual lifestyle where you're working towards your goals. And I don't really know if it's everywhere, but I live in the South, and it's really normalized to graduate school, get married, get pregnant, and that's it. That's it. And it's like, if that suits you, more power to you, genuinely. But let's also normalize people that don't do that. I shouldn't be asked when I'm gonna get a boyfriend, or when I'm gonna have kids, or when I choose to start that aspect of my life. And when I give an answer, like I'll say I want to wait till my late 20s, early 30s, and they're like, that's really late. I'm sorry. I'm more than just a mom and a wife. I am an individual person that has goals that I would love to achieve and have worked my whole entire life for. So what is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. So let's normalize that too, please. I feel like, especially as a woman, we're really taught, like, okay, marriage, kids, housewife. There's so much more to you than just that. Genuinely, there is. And it's like, even if it's something that we don't want, and I'm speaking for people in the South and people I've talked to here, I don't know if this is like a universal thing. I feel like to some extent it is, but even if it's not something we want, we are trying to beat a race we're not even in, because we feel like it is an obligation and it's something that we have to do in order to reach and get on their level. And that's just not true. And it took me, I want to say, from 18 to now to grasp that concept. Is it fully in my head yet? No. And I'm really trying to teach myself, but this is a learning process, and we're going to learn together. Your life and what you choose to do does not have to align with others. And what you have going on is normal. What they have going on is normal. Let's normalize it all. Why can't we just normalize people doing what they want to do with their lives? I say that my entire life I've been comparing myself to others, but I'm just done. I'm done. It does not serve me. Has done nothing positive for me ever, and in fact it has given me really, really negative thoughts about myself, and I am no longer going to be doing that. But anyways, no matter how deep we dive, we're always going to end on a positive note. I'm going to call this part of my video the gratitude segment. I want to end on a very positive note, and although I have struggled through this week so far, I have made it. We are here. We are halfway through the week. I'm so ready for it to be Friday. But one really good thing that happened to me this week, and I don't know, I keep thinking about it because it was just really sweet, and this guy seemed very, very kind. He opened the door for me, and he just smiled at me. Not even 10 minutes before, I was in my car crying, and that really just made my day. That all he did was smile and open the door for me, and he doesn't even know how big of an impact that made on me, and genuinely, if you do see this and you do remember the altercation, thank you so much. I had such a better day. I pushed through it. I got through it. Genuinely, thank you. And this happened on Monday, so it was the day after I found everything out. School and work and my internship were probably the last places I wanted to be. And after I left my internship, I got in my car and I started crying, and I just could not deal. But it was almost class time, so I got out of my car and I walked to I went to go get a drink before I went to class, and he just opened the door for me and smiled, and that genuinely made my day. So thank you. Well, guys, I really hope that y'all enjoyed today's podcast. I don't know, this definitely made me so excited for today. I was so ready to film this. I cannot tell you how excited I've been. I've literally been talking about this since the concept even came to be. And I've been talking about this, like I said, for years now. And for it to become a reality is absolutely amazing. And, yeah. I hope you guys have an amazing evening. I love y'all. Y'all are loved. Y'all are worthy. Y'all are amazing. And, I'll see y'all later. Bye.